While shopping, I ran into my fiancé with his little mistress. His little mistress had her eye on the same bracelet as me. He bought it for $300,000 and gave it to her. Then said to me, "You're more understanding. Anyway, if we order it now, it'll arrive in just a few days. You shouldn't mind." A while later, Lily pointed at a tie and said to him, "This tie really suits you. I'll buy it as a return gift." I immediately took the tie and paid for it. Then said to him, "I'm giving this tie to someone else. You can order another one. It'll arrive in a few days. You shouldn't mind." That night, when he saw the tie on his buddy, his face turned livid with rage. I proposed breaking off the engagement. He smashed every glass item in our marital home, kicked the coffee table, grabbed my chin, and said, "Selena, you've gone too far." I smiled boldly. What I have with him isn't just playing around. Chapter 1. I ran into Joel shopping with Lily in a luxury store. They were arm in arm, intimate as if they were a young couple. The moment he saw me, his brows furrowed. "Why are you here?" Joel and I were already engaged. I was his legitimate fiancé, his girlfriend of 6 years. Yet he was walking around openly with the little mistress he kept outside. And when he saw me, all he showed was impatience. Seeing that expression on his face, I knew he thought I had followed him again. I calmly looked away and began choosing jewelry that suited me. "I'm spending money and shopping to cheer myself up. You two can shop on your own," he scoffed, clearly not believing me. I was too lazy to explain. My gaze landed on a traditionally crafted bracelet set with blue diamonds. The design immediately caught my eye. I asked the sales associate to take it out for me to see. "Joel, I really like that bracelet too." Lily tugged Joel's hand and shook it gently, pointing at the bracelet I had chosen, speaking with a hint of coquettishness. Joel was obviously very pleased by it. He took out a card and said directly to the sales associate, "No need to show it. Wrap it up." A bracelet worth $300,000, and he gave it to Lily without even blinking. He even said to me, "You're more understanding. Anyway, if we order it now, it'll arrive in just a few days. You shouldn't mind." Everything in this store was limited edition. If I wanted another one, it could only be custom-made. She smiled and glanced at me, the smugness in her eyes almost spilling over, as if mocking me for forever being the loser beneath her. I asked the sales associate to show me another bracelet. There were plenty of bracelets anyway. Why did it absolutely have to be that one? Instead, she froze. Actually, in the past, I wasn't understanding at all. I would become hysterical, lose control, cry and fight for it, insisting that I had to have that one. What I got in return was the man looking at me coldly, asking if I was done making a scene. Hadn't he already agreed to marry me? What more did I want? Was I trying to use 6 years of feelings to morally blackmail him for the rest of his life? Too many things more hateful than this had happened, so I became more numb each time. Later, I truly no longer even had the strength to make a scene, and became what he called understanding. Now, whether he bought bracelets for other women or gave them houses, it no longer had much to do with me. There is no greater sorrow than a heart that has died. I had long since been stabbed so many times that I no longer felt even the slightest pain. When Lily pointed at a gray-black diagonally striped tie and said to Joel, "Joel, I'll buy this tie for you as a return gift." I picked up the tie and said to the sales associate, "Wrap it up." I smiled and said to him, "I'm giving this tie to someone today. You can order another one. It should arrive in a few days. You shouldn't mind." "Selena, there's no need for you to be so petty over what happened just now. Otherwise, I'll let you have the bracelet." This time, he laughed instead. "No need. It's just a tie." Chapter 2. After I went back, I changed into my gown. Just as I was about to go out, Joel arrived. I looked at him, somewhat surprised. "Why are you here?" He reached his hand out to me. "Give it to me." I was confused. "What do you mean?" "The tie. Give it to me. Didn't you buy it for me?" "I really am giving the tie to someone else. If there's nothing else, I'll head out first." He thought I was jealous because he had bought the bracelet for Lily earlier, that I had deliberately fought her over the tie just to give it to him. He really was overthinking it. It was someone's birthday today, and I genuinely thought the tie suited him. "I came to take you to Eric's birthday banquet." What a coincidence. I was also going to Eric's birthday banquet, but I had no intention of going with him. Why don't you ask your little mistress to go with you? It's a public occasion. Bringing her wouldn't look very good. It's more appropriate to bring you. You've brought her out plenty of times already. Isn't it a bit late to say it wouldn't look good now? Fine, if you want to dig up old scores, then I'll bring her. His tone was unpleasant. He turned around, slammed the door, and left. I truly had no intention of digging up old scores. It was just that he and Lily had never kept a low profile in the first place, and he had taken her to banquets more than a few times. The most outrageous time was when he brought her directly home. That day was our engagement banquet. Holding her hand, he said to his family, "I can marry Selena, but I won't give up Lily." Selena and I stopped having feelings for each other a long time ago. Holding her hand feels like holding my own left hand with my right. There's no spark anymore. At that time, he had never said it was inappropriate, nor had he shown the slightest concern for my dignity. He humiliated me without caring that other guests were present. The old man was so angry he almost had a stroke. His mother grabbed a whip and lashed it directly at him. Back then, I still loved him, or perhaps it was more accurate to say that it was a conditioned reflex formed by years of feelings. I instinctively threw myself over him to protect him and blocked one strike. The whip landed on my hand, tearing the skin open. It really hurt. The tears I had held back all night fell instantly. There is still a scar on my little finger even now. Tonight, when I said I didn't want to go with him, I meant it sincerely too. Otherwise, Eric would be unhappy. He is very clingy and very hard to coax. I was only afraid of trouble. Chapter 3. Eric had already been waiting for me downstairs. I took the gift and went down. He pulled me into the car. I handed him the gift. "See if you like it, as long as it's from you." "I like it." When he said this, he smiled especially happily. Recently, he had just started working at the company and needed to wear suits, so I thought of giving him a tie for everyday use. "Put it on me and see if it suits me." He handed the tie to me, leaned toward me, and lowered his neck. Unlike Joel's cold and aloof looks, Eric had a youthful air about him. There was a tear mole at the corner of his eye, adding a touch of seductive charm. When he smiled, his peach blossom eyes were incredibly captivating. Today, he wore a gray shirt, and the collar was not properly fastened. From this angle, I could clearly see his collarbone, and his flawless abs were faintly visible. I felt as if the temperature in the car had risen. A little uncomfortable, I looked away and fastened the tie around his neck. He held the back of my neck and stared straight at me. "May I?" I nodded, and he immediately kissed me passionately. The car in front. "Make way." Joel's voice came from behind. I instinctively pushed Eric away, but he caught my hand in his. After a while, he finally let go. He leaned close to my ear and smiled wickedly. "Selena, your fiancé is outside, and you're kissing his brother. Isn't that exciting? Guess whether he'll come over?" Through the rearview mirror, I saw Joel get out of the car. It seemed like he was planning to come over and knock on the window. In the end, just as he was almost there, Eric quickly drove away, leaving him with a face full of dust and standing in place with a cold expression. "Why did you change your mind and stop letting him see?" "I still want to leave that choice to you." "Wouldn't it feel satisfying to tell him personally that he's been dumped?" "I just hope you won't make me wait too long. I'm getting a little impatient. I want so badly to hold your hand and announce our relationship to everyone," I said jokingly. "I thought you were afraid he'd beat you up." Who beats whom is still uncertain. Chapter 4. At the birthday banquet, Joel really did bring Lily. Everyone's mocking gazes turned toward me. I calmly put down my glass and went to the restroom. I heard people coming in one after another outside. Soon, they began discussing me. Selena really can endure anything. Her fiancé openly brought another woman to a banquet, and once she saw it, who knows where she hid? She's practically a ninja turtle. Tisk. This isn't the first time. It's nothing new. Back then, he even brought her to the engagement banquet, and Selena still endured it. Do you think they'll get married? I bet they will. After all, she's endured it for so long. If they were going to break up, they would have done it long ago. They've been engaged for 2 years, but the wedding date still hasn't been set. I'm afraid it's uncertain. I bet they won't. How could Joel be willing? I pushed open the door. When they saw my face, they inevitably showed a trace of embarrassment. I smiled lightly and threw the necklace around my neck into the trash can. I bet we won't. I'll break off the engagement. Also, I just happened to need the restroom. Everyone said I was Joel's simp. But actually, back then, he was the one who pursued me. This necklace was something Joel had personally made and given to me when he confessed his feelings all those years ago. In order to learn how to make this necklace, his hand had almost been cut by the cutting machine. Back then, under the locust tree on campus, he held up this necklace and said he had liked me for a long time, that he would love me for the rest of his life, and asked if I could accept him as my boyfriend. The young man's gaze was exceptionally burning, filled with love, and every word he spoke was sincere. When I received the necklace and looked at his injured hand, I cried a complete mess, scolding him for being a fool and asking what he would have done if he had really lost his hand. He said that for me, anything was worth it. Only then did I agree to be with him. He held me and spun me around and around, saying we would be together forever, amid the locust blossoms falling all over the sky. False vows really were beautiful. Now, he had long since forgotten the promise he made when we first got together. Since I was going to cut things off now, there was no need to keep it anymore. Let it go where it belonged. Chapter 5. When Eric made his entrance, he deliberately wore the tie I had bought. The moment Joel saw that tie, the hand he was using to hold his wine glass tightened. He tried his best to restrain himself and walked over to my side. You said you were giving the tie to someone. Who did you give it to? Limited edition items really could be spotted at a glance. Before Eric appeared, I had tied that tie around his neck with my own hands. When he was about to change into another one, I stopped him. Wear it. It suits you very well. It looks great. Eric wrapped an arm around my waist, leaned against me, and said to me happily, Selena, are you really planning to make me official? Joel clasped one hand around my wrist and asked me again, you gave the tie to Eric? Yes. His face was livid as he asked me, you gave another man something as intimate as a tie? I smiled and asked him back calmly, what's the problem? What right do you have to question me? That day, you gave Lily a bracelet, and it was much more expensive than this tie. Have you given her few things over the years? Didn't I also never ask about them? Lily and I are. She followed me for 2 years without any status or title. What's wrong with me giving her a few gifts? What are you and Eric? Whatever you and Lily are, Eric and I are the same. The moment those words left my mouth, Joel crushed the goblet in his hand. The glass shards instantly pierced his palm, and thick blood flowed out. Lily nervously grabbed his hand and called out, Joel, drawing quite a few people's gazes over. Seeing that everyone was now looking over, I announced on the spot, Joel and I will not be getting married. The previous engagement is void. From now on, our marriages and relationships have nothing to do with each other. At my words, the entire venue fell silent. Everyone was shocked that I would say something like that. After all, I had once drunk several types of mixed alcohol for Joel and ended up in the hospital with a perforated stomach, all just to beg him not to end things with me. When he saw my sickly pale face, the first thing he said was, do you have to make yourself look neither human nor ghost? Look at what you've become. Just looking at you annoys me. I covered my face and cried until my heart felt torn apart. The video was leaked, and it spread throughout the entire circle. Everyone said that even if I became a ghost in this life, I would still haunt Joel, and that I would never possibly break off the engagement. Now, thinking back, in order to hold on to that ridiculous bit of love, I really had lost the last of my dignity. It truly wasn't worth it. Lily was the only person present whose eyes filled with excitement. She immediately turned her gaze to Joel, but Joel's expression was even darker than before, perhaps because he did not want so many people present to watch the joke unfold. He immediately grabbed me and tried to leave the banquet hall. Lily instantly grabbed his other hand. Joel immediately shook off her hand. She was flung to the ground, which showed that he had used quite a bit of force. Lily had never been treated like that before. She sat on the ground, crying delicately like a pear blossom in the rain. With no patience at all, he said to her, go back first today. I did not resist. I also did not want to let others watch a spectacle in public. In any case, I had already said what needed to be said. Chapter 6. Joel drove me to Xiangjiang Courtyard. 2 years ago, we bought our marital home here. He pulled me into the room. Everything that should have been in the room was already there. A lot of the decorations in the house had been chosen by the two of us together at the time. My mood was very calm. On the contrary, the moment Joel came in, he smashed a vase. When we had bought that vase, it had been out of stock, so we waited another 3 months before it became available. But by then, he had already met Lily. On the day we went to pick up the vase, Lily called and said she had cramps because of her period. He drove halfway there, then made me get out of the car and go pick it up by myself. He would often abandon me because of a single phone call from Lily. After that, many of the soft furnishings gradually became things I lived at alone, all the way until this apartment was fully decorated. Then he simply stopped pretending altogether and brought Lily home. He felt that still was not enough, so he smashed a set of ceramic tableware too. Only after the floor was covered in shards and almost all the glass items in the room had been smashed by him did he finally calm down a little. He sat on the sofa, his hands braced on his legs, his head lowered. "When did you and him start?" I looked down at him from above and replied indifferently, "Does asking that still matter now?" He said nothing. He took out a cigarette and started smoking. "I just want to hear it. More than half a year ago." He suddenly raised his head and looked at me, his eyes bloodshot. "And I thought you loved me so much. Turns out it was nothing more than this." I gave a bitter smile, feeling that only someone utterly shameless could say something like that. I degraded myself for over a year, tormenting myself until I lost all dignity and was looked down on by others. "I really can't keep loving you anymore. And what right do you have to blame me? You were the one who personally pushed me toward him." Chapter 7. The reason I ended up with Eric was thanks to Joel. After that time when I drank myself into a stomach perforation, he came to see me gradually. In order to see him, I used quite a few tactics of crying, making a scene, and threatening to hang myself. Later, whenever something happened to me again, he would not even show up. One time, I got into a car accident, a rear-end collision. It was not serious, and no one was hurt, but the other party was unreasonable and refused to let me leave. While I was waiting for the traffic police to arrive, I still called Joel. That time, Lily happened to be hospitalized with gastroenteritis, and he was taking thoughtful care of her. I had only said that I had gotten into a car accident and had not even said anything else before he mocked me harshly. He said I was once again trying to use my tactics of crying, making a scene, and threatening to hang myself. Lily was truly sick now and needed him to take care of her. Since I was able to call him, that proved that the car accident was either fake or simply not serious at all. The phone was hung up coldly. Seeing that no one came for me, the other party became even more aggressive. Just as he was about to lay hands on me, Eric happened to drive by. He grabbed the other party's hand, beat him up, and was even taken to the police station. Fortunately, in the end, the power of money solved it, and the other party did not pursue the matter. I recognized him. He knew Joel. They did not interact much, but their two families had been friends for generations, so they could also be considered brothers. He did not recognize me. Perhaps during that period, I had lost too much weight and too much vitality. I truly looked completely different from before. He wanted to add me on WeChat. He said he had stood up for me and almost gone to prison because of it, so I had to treat him to a meal. Later, he asked me out more and more often. I was also afraid of the empty feeling of staying alone in the prepared marital home, so I agreed every time. Every time I saw him, he would go to great lengths to make me happy. Only then did I realize that he might like me. Originally, I wanted to ask him out and make things clear, to tell him not to look for me again, but on that day, I received photos from Lily. They were bed photos of her and Joel. She was leaning in his arms, her face full of coquettish charm, while Joel looked completely satisfied and slept soundly. She sent me a message. "Selena, he said that when you're in bed, you're like a dead fish, without the slightest bit of passion. With me, he finally found the pleasure of being a man. If only he had met me earlier. If it weren't because our two families are too deeply connected and it would be hard to call off the marriage, he would have dumped you long ago. You're like a mangy dog, clinging to him and refusing to let go. If you know what's good for you, break off the engagement sooner." That time, I truly shed the last tear I had for him. I stared into the mirror for a long time. I realized that my face was numb, without any change in expression. The corners of my eyes were dry. and my heart seemed to feel nothing anymore. I knew that my heart had died, truly died. When Eric asked me out again, I told him, "Did you really not recognize who I am?" There was some confusion on his face. I told him the name Selena. He thought for a while before remembering, but the first thing he did was smile and say, "Joel really has no taste. He chose that woman. She looks like she has a plastic surgery face. How could she compare to you? Selena, you're so bright and beautiful. If you know who I am, then stop coming to find me." I got up and wanted to leave, but he grabbed me and blocked me against the wall. "Selena, after he treated you like that, there's no need for you to stay with him anymore. Are you still going to marry him?" "No." "Then give me a chance." His eyes were full of pleading as he looked at me. "Even if you only use me as a tool to get revenge on him and make him jealous, that's fine. I did not do that. I would not be that childish. Nor was there any need." After I pushed him away, he still persistently chased after me, until one time, on a night road, I was robbed. He saved me and was stabbed in the hand. I asked him why he had come. He said the Mid-Autumn Festival was approaching, and his family had personally made mooncakes, so he wanted to bring some over for me to taste. I agreed to his shameless request and took care of his meals for half a month. During that time, after being around him for so long, I had to admit that I was attracted to him. Only then did I agree to try being with him, and that trial had already lasted more than half a year. Chapter 8. Joel stubbed out the cigarette in his hand. The pressure around him was unbearably low, and his voice carried a slight hoarseness. "You can fool around with him, but..." He suddenly stood up and kicked the coffee table, then grabbed my chin. "Selena, you've gone too far. How could you tell people on the spot that the engagement was cancelled?" I smiled boldly. What I have with him isn't just playing around. I had never treated relationships as something to play with. I believed every relationship deserved the respect it should have. From the moment I started being with Eric, I had wanted to break off the engagement with Joel. During that time, I had thought about bringing up the matter of canceling the engagement with Joel, but every time, he used excuses not to come home, or whenever I said I wanted to talk, he simply stopped replying. He probably thought I wanted to talk to him about the wedding, so he kept refusing to come home and refused to talk to me. It was honestly very hard for me to see him. Recently, it was rare for us to run into each other, and we happened to be at the same occasion, so I simply announced it on the spot. Something like this would spread very quickly through our circle. His fingertips were trembling, and even his voice was unsteady as he said, "This time, I can let it go. I can cut things off with Lily. But you also have to cut things off with Eric. We'll just treat it as both of us having fooled around outside. As for the wedding, both families can sit down and discuss it. Then set a date." I slapped his hand away and used a tissue to wipe my chin, where there were some dried bloodstains. I glanced at his pierced hand and said to him, "But what can I do? I like him. As for you, I already feel nothing. When I see you, my heart no longer races. When I have physical contact with you, I don't feel very comfortable either. There's no need to discuss the wedding. Both families can sit down for a meal, but only to formally cancel the engagement." His eyes darkened again and again. His injured palm clenched tightly once more. The blood that had almost stopped flowing began to drip out again, drop by drop, onto the floor, with bloodshot eyes. He said, "The engagement cannot be cancelled. I'm not discussing this with you. After all, everyone at the birthday banquet already heard it today. The media will spread it. We aren't married, so you have no right to demand that I must marry you. Even if we were married, I would still demand a divorce." After saying that, I pushed open the door and left without looking back. Chapter 9. As soon as I walked out the door, I ran into Eric. He had run over, his head covered in sweat. He pulled me over and looked me up and down. "I'm fine." He reached out and held me tightly. "I was called away by the elders just now. I only didn't see you for a little while, and then you were gone. Everyone said you brought up breaking off the engagement with Joel, and that he dragged you away aggressively. I was afraid something had happened to you." At that moment, Joel happened to come out. He yanked Eric away and punched him in the face. "You fucking dared to steal my woman." How could Eric show weakness? He immediately threw a punch back. "You were the one who didn't know how to cherish her. Now you're saying I stole your woman? When you were going in and out with other women, Did you ever consider her? Do you know how haggard she was during that time? Now you're anxious? You deserve it. 2 men over 8 meters tall wrestled together on the ground. I tried to pull them apart, but I couldn't. In the end, security called the police. Only after the 2 of them entered the police station did they finally settle down. They were lectured, then released. Lily came running to pick up Joel. While I supported Eric and prepared to get a taxi, Joel reached out and grabbed my hand. It's so late. Where are you going with him? What does that have to do with you? I can go wherever I want. I coldly brushed his hand away. In the past, Lily would also look for him this late at night to go out. Back then, they were still in the ambiguous stage. When I asked him where he was going, he also told me coldly that it had nothing to do with me, and that he could go wherever he wanted. I looked at Eric's face with some heartache. The corner of your mouth is bruised. Joel ran in front of me, the expression on his face deeply wounded. He stretched out his palm, which was still oozing blood. He hit me too. I was punched in the face several times too. And my hand, it's been cut for so long tonight. But you haven't even looked at it once. Your girlfriend is behind you. Go to her for comfort. Eric wrapped an arm around my shoulders and smiled in an especially irritating way. The movement pulled at the wound at the corner of his mouth. But he still insisted on saying, besides, of course my girlfriend feels sorry for me. Why would she feel sorry for an outsider like you? Lily ran over to Joel, took his hand, and said, Joel, I saw you were injured just now, so I already bought medicine for you. I'll help you apply it. Fortunately, Lily kept clinging to him, so we were able to smoothly get a taxi and leave. That night, afraid that Joel would come bother me again, I went straight to Eric's place. He took out a medical kit and asked me to apply medicine for him. I used iodine to disinfect his wounds. He happily held my hand. Selena, I can finally introduce you to my family. Just now, they called me over because they wanted to introduce me to someone. Then go take a look. Maybe there's someone more suitable than me. He immediately hugged me. No one is more suitable than you. I've chosen you. You can't abandon me. Enough. Let me apply the medicine properly. My body hurts too. Help me apply some there too. As he spoke, he lifted his clothes. On the 8-pack abs he revealed, there really were bruises. I reached out and helped him apply the medicine. His breathing grew heavier. He pulled my hand, fell against me, and kissed me fiercely. Before, because he had scruples, he would ask me every time before kissing me if he could. This time, he was so direct. That night, all I could say was that young people really had too much stamina. Chapter 10. Both families soon found out about the canceled engagement. My parents did not say much. Over the past 2 years, they had long been dissatisfied with Joel's outrageous behavior. They had only endured it because they thought I still loved Joel. As for Joel's parents, they had no face to stop it either. They only begged that their unfilial son would not affect the relationship between our 2 families. Ironically, Joel, who had once been constantly thinking about canceling the engagement with me, began appearing in front of me often. He waited at the door of my apartment with a large bouquet of gardenias in his arms. I did not even glance at him and walked inside. He grabbed me. I've thought about it for several days. My mind is full of our past together. I don't want to cancel the engagement. I shook off his hand. Stop wasting your energy. No matter what you say now, it's too late. My heart is already dead toward you. During the struggle, he saw the ambiguous marks exposed on my collarbone. His eyes looked as if they were about to spit fire. Last night, you went to his house? I found it laughable and shot back in a mocking tone. Yes. Is there a problem? Don't tell me that you and Lily were practicing pure love for 2 years. Of course I knew it could not have been pure love. After all, I had already received their bed photos. In the past, let alone him going to Lily's house. It should be said that he barely came back to mine. Those ambiguous marks were countless, and there was also the strong scent of rose perfume. Every single time, they had stimulated my nerves. If I had known he would be waiting at the apartment entrance today, I would not have come back. What terrible luck. His domineering aura instantly faded, and his eyes turned humble. Let's not hold the past against each other anymore. I didn't see anything, and I don't know anything. Can we start over? Why don't you go get your brain or ears checked? Is it that your ears are bad and you can't understand what I'm saying? Or is your brain bad and you can't comprehend it? Since last night, there has been nothing between us anymore. Naturally, there won't be anything in the future either. You and I are impossible. Falling into the same pit once was because I was blind. If I did it again, did he think I was stupid or actually blind? Seeing him frozen after being rebuked by me, I immediately unlocked the door, went inside, and shut him outside. Chapter 11. As soon as I entered, Lily called again. I did not answer. Then she began sending messages frantically. Bitch. Did you say something to Joel? He wants to break up with me. He loves me so much. How could he break up with me? It must be you. You bitch. Using your family to threaten him. He said long ago that if it weren't for family pressure, he would have canceled the engagement with you and married me already. Even if you cling to him, what use is it? He doesn't love you anymore. Let him go. I'm begging you. I can't live without him. Without him, I'll die. Joel had actually brought up breaking up with her. It was the result I had failed to get no matter how many times I had made a scene in the past. They had finally experienced the pain of the person beside them having someone else. Unfortunately, everything was too late. If I had seen this message more than a year ago, I would have reconciled with him without hesitation, then married him. But now, I truly had only one feeling: they should stay together and keep hurting each other. Looking at the way she spoke so incoherently, I actually felt rather sorry for her. Next, she began rambling on and on about what Joel had done to make her happy. If she knew what Joel had been like when he loved me, she would know how ridiculous everything she was saying was. They were nothing but hollow sweet words. Joel and I had known each other since childhood. He started pursuing me in our senior year of high school. Aside from personally making jewelry for me, when I had a poor appetite, he learned to make nutritious meals for me and delivered them to my class every day. Back then, he had studied hard only so he could get into the same university as me. Whatever I wanted to eat, even if I casually mentioned it in the middle of the night, he would bring it to me. During our junior year of university, the first year I agreed to be with him, I fell ill and coughed for half a month without recovering. He, who had never believed in gods or Buddhas, knelt with every step as he climbed the mountain to pray for a safety bracelet for me at Bayun Temple. He cowed out until his forehead was broken. I wanted to start a studio but could not hire the clothing designer I wanted. He went and worked as that designer's assistant for a month. A person who had never suffered hardship endured all kinds of difficulties, serving tea and water with a good temper, before finally persuading that designer to come to my studio. The first time the designer met me, she said, "You have found a man who loves you very, very much." The laughable thing was that this man who loved me very, very much changed his heart in the 4th year we were together. After proposing to me, the reason I endured for so long was because he had once loved me sincerely, and we had once had sweet memories together. I had always refused to believe that he would abandon me for another woman. Reality slapped me hard across the face. After Lily appeared, he put my sincerity over the fire again and again, tormenting me until living felt worse than death. Lily's messages kept coming. She said that the first time he failed to appear on our anniversary, it was because he had gone with her to an exhibition. That day, they kissed under a romantic light show. The first time he failed to celebrate my birthday for her, it was because she had fallen while repairing a light bulb at home. He had immediately rushed over in a hurry to take care of her and even helped her change the light bulb. That time, he stayed at her place. They did everything they should have done, lacking only the final step. He had even bought a villa of the same standard near the marital home in Xiangjiang Courtyard, so that after we got married, they could still be together at any time. After reading through it, actually, aside from sleeping with her, he had not personally done much for her at all. Most of it had been arranged through his subordinates. For Joel, the word love had an expiration date. For me, it was 4 years. For her, perhaps only 2. What he loved was the excitement dopamine gave him. Once that disappeared, he would want a new target. I only sent her one message: "I am insisting on canceling the engagement." He is the one refusing. The other side finally quieted down. Chapter 12. By nighttime, Joel still had not left. It was raining outside. I got up to close the window and saw that he was still standing downstairs, looking up in the direction of my apartment. The rain fell the entire night. When I went out the next day, he was still standing downstairs. I did not know whether he was trying to bet that my heart would soften. He had stubbornly stayed outside the car and been drenched by the rain all night. He was so dazed that he collapsed in front of the car. When I passed by, he was still murmuring my name. Out of kindness, I called Lily and asked her to come pick him up. Worried that he would come again, I simply moved into the villa Eric had bought. I had barely had 2 peaceful days when Lily called again. I hung up. She kept calling, so I blocked her. Then she borrowed someone else's phone to call me. Come to the hospital and see Joel. I'm busy. I have work. He refuses to take medicine and refuses to get in 4 drip. His high fever won't go down. If you don't come, something really will happen to him. As she spoke, she started crying. She said, Selena, I admit defeat. He loves you more. Come see him, okay? After all, you two grew up together. I went to the hospital and saw him. In just 2 short days, he had lost a lot of weight. His face was flushed from the fever, and his whole body looked listless. The instant he saw me, surprise appeared on his face. Selena, you finally came to see me. I looked him up and down. Do you have to make yourself look neither human nor ghost? Look at what you've become. Just looking at you annoys me. A flash of embarrassment appeared on his face. Then he covered his face and said hoarsely, This really is karma. How can you speak to Joel like that? Lily shouted at me unhappily from the side. You shut up and get out. She can say whatever she wants, as long as she's still willing to see me. Lily looked unwilling, then said she would go find the doctor to give him an injection. He reached over anxiously and grabbed my hand, his face pale. This time, I really have cut things off with Lily. Believe me, I won't have anyone else again. I also don't know why she brought me to the hospital. I was the one who called her to pick you up. How am I supposed to believe you? Once unfaithful, always useless. You're already dirty. His eyes reddened from distress. Carrying grievance. I'm a man. I only accidentally made a small mistake, and I'm already willing to change. Why are you still unwilling to give me a chance? You know how much I love you. In the past, I did so much for you. We had so many sweet memories. He was a spoiled man, and he still did not think he was wrong. From the past until now, you've always been selfish. You only ever think of yourself. When you loved me, you used every flamboyant method possible to pursue me. When you stopped loving me, you treated me like a rag you wished you could immediately throw away. Now, you can't allow something you no longer wanted to abandon you instead. So you're using the same old tricks to try to hold on to me. You truly disgust me to the core. If you had really stayed properly with Lily, perhaps I wouldn't look down on you this much. If I had still been as submissive as before, he would not have seen me at all. Perhaps he would still have married me and let me be his wife in name. Then he would continue indulging himself outside. Once he got tired of Lily, he would change to the next one. I would guard an empty room alone, slowly corroded by pain, betrayal, and crazy rumors, until finally choosing death as release. I truly regret it. Why won't you believe me? Do I have to dig out my heart and show it to you before you'll believe me? He shakily climbed out of the hospital bed and walked to the window. If I jump from here, you'll believe I'm sincere. I rubbed my brow, exhausted by how troublesome he was. Perhaps the instant he said he loved me, he really did mean it. But if I got together with him again, I believed we would definitely repeat the same mistakes. So I remained silently quiet. The doctor arrived and had the nurses drag him back onto the bed. Fortunately, because he had a fever and had barely eaten, he was easily restrained. He was tied to the bed, looking at me with tears streaming down his face. You clearly loved me so much. Now, even watching me die, you're unwilling to say we can start over. Get proper treatment, no matter what happens in the future. I probably won't come again. Can you give me 3 more days? Let's walk through the places we went before together. There really is no need. Spending even 1 more second with you feels excessive. If there's a next time, there's no need to notify me. After all, people who truly want to die do it quietly. Someone like you is just making a scene. These words were the first thing he had said when he saw that I had slit my wrist for him. That night, I called him and said that if he did not come back, I would make him regret it forever. It was the housekeeper who discovered the blood on the floor and called emergency services. The first thing he said to me when he saw me was exactly that sentence. My purpose in coming to the hospital was to stab him in the heart, To repay tooth for tooth, nothing more. Chapter 13. Eric proposed to me. The scale of it was no less grand than Joel's proposal back then. If anything, it surpassed it. He had drones deliver the ring right in front of me, then scattered countless gardenias down from the sky. Holding the ring, he knelt on the ground. Miss Selena, please marry me. In the past, he had always been roguishly playful, and when he spoke, there was always a hint of unseriousness. This time, he was solemn, sincere, and even cautious. I reached out and held my finger in front of him. He put the ring on me, then kissed me joyfully, pressing his forehead against the tip of my nose. I can finally be official now. You have no idea how long I've envied others. The news that Eric and I were getting married was quickly reported by the media. Joel came again when he saw Eric and me tightly holding hands. His expression was filled with pain, afraid that the two of them would fight again. I said, "Go upstairs and wait for me first." Eric did not want me to be alone with him, but he still chose to respect me. "I'll be right nearby. Call me if anything happens." You've known him for less than a year, and you're already marrying him. Is that reliable? I dated you on and off for 6 years and knew you for 20 years. Was that reliable? My question left him speechless. He's also a man. You trust him? I do. Since we're together, I'll trust him. Otherwise, why be together? During all those years I was with Joel, I had kept going only because I trusted that he still loved me. What if he betrays you too? Then bye-bye. After saying bye, the next one will be better behaved. This was what I had learned from my love game with Joel. No one was indispensable. If I could walk away from 6 years, then next time, I could too. Do not give up accepting the existence of love just because you were hurt once. It was not worth it for a scumbag like that. But in love, do not hurt yourself for anyone either. That is not worth it either. The only people who care are those who truly love you. People who do not care about you will only watch you become a joke. A bitter smile appeared on his face. If only I had never met Lily. Then the person walking into marriage with you would have been me. Wrong. It never would have been. I cut him off firmly. If it wasn't her, there would have been another woman. You have a restless heart. I won't bother you anymore. Lily is pregnant. I'm going to marry her. That's truly wonderful. I sincerely smiled. Joel handed me a necklace. It was ruby, and judging by the quality, it was probably worth tens of millions. He said it was a wedding gift for me, then turned and left desolately. Eric hurried over and asked me what Joel had said to me. I raised my brows and smiled. He said you're also a man, that you also won't be reliable, that you'll cheat in the future too, and that I'll be miserable. Slander. Does he think everyone is like him, unable to control his lower half? There's still a difference between humans and dogs. It's not like I'm a teddy, afraid that I would not believe him. He immediately hugged me. Selena, don't believe his attempts to drive a wedge between us. Before we get married, we'll sign an agreement. If I cheat after marriage, all my money will belong to you, and I'll become completely penniless. If that day really comes, you absolutely must not feel sorry for me. I'll have deserved it. How could I not love such a charming Selena? I swear I'll never want to taste the shit outside. His teasing words healed me. Chapter 14. Joel and Lily still did not end up getting married. On the day of the wedding, Lily miscarried. It seemed that she had argued with Joel and been pushed down. Blood flowed all over the floor, and the child was gone on the spot. Originally, his family had only allowed her to marry into the family for the sake of the child. Now that the child was gone, the wedding was immediately cancelled. After that, Lily began acting insane and unstable. She was arranged to live in a villa and be taken care of. Who would have known that one night she went mad? While Joel was asleep, she ran into his room, holding a pair of scissors. She cut off Joel's dick. She kept muttering, "This way. You won't be able to go find other women anymore. You'll be mine forever." Originally, if he had been sent to the hospital, there might still have been a chance to save it. Who knew Lily would be so ruthless? She flushed it straight down the drain, and it could not be found at all. Even if it had been found, it would have been too contaminated to use. From then on, Joel became a ruined man. His parents were already planning to do IVF and have another child. After all, his family was rich. As for Lily, Joel's family had previously felt somewhat guilty toward her and had not sent her to a psychiatric hospital. But after this incident, who would dare keep her around? They immediately sent her to a mental hospital. Apparently, her condition was very serious, and she had to be watched by someone every day. I heard all of this from my best friend at my wedding banquet with Eric. She also said to me, "Good thing you didn't marry Joel back then. Otherwise, you might have been tortured into madness." I nodded. That made sense. Actually, back then, I might not have been far from going mad myself. Fortunately, I made it out. And now, I had found new happiness.